So what's going on, guys? My name's Chopper and welcome everybody to a brand new video. And today, guys, I'm going to be showing you some PUBG TDM gameplay. This is a mode that you can go and play on PUBG right now, and we're going to be talking you through everything that this mode has to offer, what I think could be improved, and just a kind of critical overview of it. I'm going to let you guys watch and enjoy the gameplay while I give you an overview and sort of talk you through what's happening. Now, if you guys would like to see this game mode implemented and be fully polished in PUBG, and if you're excited for Team Deathmatch, then please make sure to drop a thumbs up on the video. If you are new around here and would like to support the channel and the PUBG community, make sure to go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more videos like this. And if you guys don't follow me on Twitch already, that link is down below in the description. That's where I'm streaming nowadays, so make sure you go drop my channel a follow, and I'll see you over there when I'm live. A proper Team Deathmatch mode is something that's been pretty long awaited in PUBG for a lot of the community. PUBG Lite got it pretty quickly, and PUBG Mobile's had it forever, but the original Steam version of PUBG, and kind of where it all started, really never had a proper polished game mode for this. But now, as you guys can see, this is a setting that you can run inside of War Mode that makes Team Deathmatch possible without having to use the parachute to respawn. The whole idea with War Mode in the past was it was kind of still like Battle Royale, just on a much smaller scale, and every time you would respawn, you'd wait a certain amount of time, and then you would parachute back into the map. And that's the key thing to mention here, because this new Team Deathmatch mode retains the same core gameplay as War Mode does, but it completely cuts out the entire parachuting into the map. You physically just respawn after a couple seconds on dying, and the reason this is important is because it fundamentally changes how the game functions. Now, the way weaponry works in Team Deathmatch is there are 4 different classes you can run. These are Assault, Medic, Support, and Scout, and the class you're seeing right now on screen is the Assault gameplay that comes with the M416. You get level 1 gear, 5 bandages, and a revolver, but that's it. With the Medic class, you're going to get a UMP-45 as well as a sawed-off shotgun, and you're going to have almost every boost item and heal item in the game, with even a critical response kit, so that's the instant revive item that's in here, med kit, first aid kit, painkillers, and adrenalines. With the support class, you're going to spawn in with an S12, a Scorpion, and level 2 gear, and for your items, you're going to get a mechanics toolbox, which is essentially the vehicle repair kit, also 2 frag grenades, and 5 bandages. And then finally, with the scout class, you get a ghillie suit paired with a Kar 98 with a 4x scope, a Glock, and then level 1 armor. Now, as most of you guys could probably figure, Team Deathmatch works as you just basically kill the enemy players in order to rack up and score points. You can set the points to whatever you like. You can make it really high, or you can make it like 50 kills, which is very reasonable. And another important thing to note, because it's Team Deathmatch in this traditional sense, there is no downs and there's no revives. So as soon as you take enough damage to die, there's no chance of you getting picked back up. You're just instantly dead, but you're going to respawn almost immediately. Now, this is good as far as keeping the pace of the gameplay up and not having to always frag around a corner if you down somebody in Team Deathmatch. You know, keep the game a little bit more tightly knit and the game flow well. But this also comes at the cost of some of the classes. Now, this is where one of my criticisms I think is important here, is because the classes don't seem to be really well designed for a traditional TDM mode. And the thing is, they weren't. What ideally is going to be the most popular class for most players to run is, of course, the Assault, because, you know, basically everybody likes having the M416 as a weapon. The problem with this class is I really don't think you get enough ammo on spawn. You get 60 bullets, which it could be a lot worse. They could give you 1 magazine, but when you find out that 60 bullets, especially in these long extended gunfights where you just don't have enough breathing room to go and loot, or you just don't have time to loot someone else's body, then you can run out very quickly, and then you're kind of just sat there doing nothing, and you have to feed the enemy kills in order to respawn and get more ammo. Also, not to mention, this class only comes with level 1 armor, so the problem is every time you respawn, even if you had level 3 gear, you're going to respawn back with a severe disadvantage. Conversely, if you choose to spawn in with the medic class, you can spawn in with a level 3 helmet and vest, and then simply go back to pick up your M4, and it's pretty much breaking the entire point of that class to begin with. Not to mention, as there's no revives, the critical response kit on the medic class is entirely useless now. These are just a couple things that I feel like could be improved with the classes. Now, believe me, I understand why they have these 4 different systems in there, but I think if they want to really go ahead and completely polish out a TDM mode and make it incredible, they need to redo the gun system from the ground up. I suggest that instead of having 4 different classes that all kind of are supposed to work synergistically, you have something sort of like a create a class menu before you start. So imagine you have 20 points to use and spend while you're creating your class, making whatever setup you want. You can pull from literally any items in the game. Some are going to be more valuable than others. Maybe you could spawn in with an AWM, but that's maybe 17 points of your class, so you don't have room for anything else. You have enough points, though, to determine whether you want to have maybe a higher tier of armor, or maybe carry extra frag grenades or smokes, basically giving you the flexibility to load up with whatever whatever you want in whatever situation comes across. Because what happens is, unfortunately, with the classes they give you, the game can get very lopsided depending on what the enemy team has. I've also suggested that, yeah, while it is cool to play in sections of the map that we play in Battle Royale, you guys can tell that on the map it's obviously just a small snippet, a very tight circumference around one area in the map, and this wasn't designed to play Team Deathmatch on, right? If they're going to do a TDM mode, then I would like to see a dedicated map for that that's balanced in that way for two teams. Because currently the Team Deathmatch maps, and especially playing on Erangel or even Camp Jackal, all of the maps are extremely asymmetrical, and there's provides one clear advantage on one side than the other. And yes, while you do have this small grace period as soon as you spawn where you're invincible and it helps you get on your feet, find cover, whatever you need to do, sometimes I don't think that's quite enough to really be able to keep the thing balanced. There's really not much to offer as far as throwables either when it comes to these classes, meaning a lot of these buildings and stuff are unflankable if you don't have frag grenades or anything like that, so they can turn into quite the gridlock. And also, there's virtually no attachments for any of the weapons. Now, some of them obviously have optics. The Kar 98 you're going to spawn in with the scope, the M4 and the UMP will spawn in with the red dot, but as far as like magazines, grips, and even muzzle attachments, there is none in that regard. So the weaponry in the current version of the game can get quite stale. The only thing that helps to mix it up is the fact that airdrops are going to fall throughout the match, and these can give you, you know, all of the expected weapons that are in it. The airdrops seem to fall almost entirely at random when it comes to its location, so this means one team could be completely stacked because they got good RNG on their airdrops, and this again goes into balancing a team deathmatch specifically for this mode, because unfortunately you can't just take a slice of the BR, throw it in team deathmatch and expect everything to work fine. It honestly is pretty fun, I gotta say. Team deathmatch has so much potential to be absolutely fantastic in PUBG, because really no other team deathmatch can really match the gunplay and dynamics that this has. PUBG is just so unique in that regard, but it needs a little bit of fine-tuning, and it definitely needs some new features, and I think we should really do away with the entire 4-class system. An aspect that I really do like about Team Deathmatch is the fact that, as opposed to Ground War where you spawn in from the parachutes, making spawns very erratic, random, and just unbelievably hard to predict, the spawns on here make sense, at least to some degree, and on most of the maps. So for the most part, you know generally the area and the direction where your enemies are going to be coming from, and where you should have your attention at all times. In Classic War mode, where you come in with the parachutes, people, you would kill them and they would just parachute right back down and spawn in behind you, either while you're reloading, reviving a teammate, or doing something. Like, it was just something that you would get overrun, and it wasn't really even your fault or something you could do anything about. So Team Deathmatch fixes this by making fixed spawns on either side of the map. Now, the problem that comes with this is that you can still post up by those hard fixed spawns, and while your enemy is going to have that 5-second grace period of where they cannot be killed, you can still sort of follow them around and harass them as soon as they come out of that. And we'll just say that if this mechanic is not properly mitigated, then it could be very, very badly abused. Now, as far as some improvements that I would like to see to make this a fully polished and functional game mode, I would like to have two different recognizable teams when you play. So either you play as maybe the Resistance in Erangel, or you play as the military faction. This would not only be more immersive from a gameplay perspective, but it would also help you distinguish enemies in-game, because basically everyone looks the same. Sometimes the icon bubble that appears over your teammate will disappear. I believe this is a glitch, and then this causes them to look exactly like enemies, and the only way you can tell that it's not is by shooting them. The friendly fire damage is off, and so you cannot kill them, and that's the only difference. But if everybody was dressed, or at least they were able to be detected by their faction or team, that would make this a lot easier. It would also be nice to have an announcer to announce the score every once in a while, and also count down when the timer is getting low, and then potentially when airdrops are coming into the field as well. Just basically very minimal but informational signals that the game is going to tell you. And assuming we have that and a creative class system where you can pick your favorite weapons, attachments, throwables, the works, and armor even, the only big thing that I would work on in trying to change or fix is make some maps that are potentially strictly for TDM, or rework your base maps very slightly so they're more balanced for Team Deathmatch. So imagine there's a cutout of Pachinki that you're watching right now, but instead of this just being simply an encompassed version in the Battle Royale, maybe some of the buildings and the layout has been reworked to make it at least evenly somewhat balanced on both sides for the teams. But imagine Team Deathmatch maps maps that are significantly smaller wouldn't be that difficult to develop as compared to Battle Royale maps, so we could potentially see more of them more often if the TDM game mode is a hit and people really like it. As it is technically a derivative of War Mode, it's understandable why there are some of these problems in it, but you can see where the potential is for this to be great. Now, you can go and try out Team Deathmatch for yourself and play the Platoon Ground War spawn. This can be played with a number of different settings with a number of different players, but I want to know what your guys' experience in PUBG TDM is like. If you've ever played Team Deathmatch before in this game, what do you think about it? Is it something that you like as much as Battle Royale? Do you play it more than BR, or do you play it less? If you haven't played TDM, go give it a try for me and let me know what you think, as it should be available for everybody to play now, regardless of what platform you're on, if to some form or another. I would really like to see a fully fledged Team Deathmatch mode get polished and get marketed in PUBG as not just the Battle Royale experience, but this is something that people can jump into a little bit more casually, maybe just practice their gunplay, play with a couple buddies, and just do some fun stuff in there. While it certainly needs a lot of work to be an amazing game mode, you can see just where this could go and how great it could be. So if you have any suggestions on what you would like to see in Team Deathmatch, if PUBG is going to make an official, polished version of it, which I suspect they are, now is the time to give feedback, as this is kind of like a very rough draft of it. I'd love to know what you guys think. If you agree with my feedback, if you disagree, if you have any of your own, I would love to hear it. And also, there's a very high chance that PUBG Lite is getting a brand new Team Deathmatch map, meaning if you can play that version of PUBG, then you should be able to play 2 Team Deathmatch maps, and this could probably be the direction that PUBG is going to be taking their new TDM mode in, if we're going to be getting a polished one. So that's my theory. That's what I think about it. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video today, please make sure to show me by dropping a thumbs up, as it does help out a lot. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, of course, and make sure you go follow me on Twitch. Link will be down below in the description, guys. But other than that, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next live stream or the next video. Have a great one, and peace out.